Hello, everyone. I think we need to wait additional 1 minute and we will start. So I think we can start. I will show my screen again. So again, hello. I'm glad to see you in our camp at day 3. Today we've got some interesting things about this one, about working with remote servers with APIs. I want to show you how to use documentation on a Swagger, for example, and how to use software for API testing, for example, Postman. And after that, Lydia will show you how to make HTTP requests and other things on Android and iOS. And in addition, we want to show you how to developers can add additional libraries to this project. And of course, if you have questions during our session, I hope you will write them in the chat and we will answer them all. And I think we can start our trainings. And now I again want to open my canvas to make some drawings, some strange drawings from me. So I guess you can see my canvas. Let's check it. Yeah, it works. Awesome technologies. So first of all, if you remember our plan today, I want to talk about HTTP, about working with remote servers. It's a very important thing in mobile development because every application, every modern application works with remote server, for example, getting messages, getting news, some information, or posting some information, and etc. And I think that every developer must know the main information about this connecting mobile application and remote server. And for that, we can use many technologies for connecting devices like HTTP, like maybe you know Signal R and etc. And we've got many solutions for that. But of course, for better understanding, for easy starting, I want to show you the most popular technology for connecting application and server, and it's about HTTP. Because Lydia will show you how to use it, we need to know some some words, some sentences about this one, because you need to understand about what a leader will talk. Okay, so first one, it's about URLs. Maybe you know URL, it's uniform resource language, and like a link, yeah. And for example, we've got a link like HTTP WSA.com slash some slash for example, this one. You can see some link, and we need to know what means every part of this link. For example, you can see here HTTP. It's about the protocol that we use for connecting to a remote server. And nowadays, we also can use HTTPS protocol. S means secure. That helps to encrypt information that will be sent to a server and back. And so we can use HTTP or HTTPS. And then here we can see the address of our server, like a domain. And we can see that this domain divided for a few parts with a dot. And we can see the few parts of domain, like a top level domain, first level domain, and etc. So we can see link like a test some .wsa.com and etc. So we can have many subdomains in our URL. Next one, it's about the path. As default, this path to folders, to directories in a server. But in nowadays, in the modern web servers, it's not mean the path to a folder. It's like an endpoint to a resource that we want to get, to a data that we want to get. For example, if we got here not some, for example, news. So we will get a news list and get it from a server for saving and etc. Next one, we've got the pairs of key and values that can be divided with and symbol. I don't remember how to write it. Like this one. Yeah, I'm bad in writing the symbol, but I think you understand it. Maybe it's like this. And here we can see pairs of keys and values that we can send in our request. For example, if we want to get some news, or for example, we can news with ID number 5, we can write this one type, or on a modern web services, it can be wrote like this without parameters. So these keys and values, names like get params, that can be sent to a server for saving something or for getting information by the needle requests. Next one, so we need new canvas. This server. This one is our mobile device. Often we've got the name for this like a client. And during working, we've got few type of requests, like a device sending some information, server preparing some response for that, and send request back. So it's one long arrow. And we've got some types of this request. For example, if I just want to get news, like here, yeah, for just for getting information from server to show them in the mobile device, I can just use a get request. It's method. Yes, it's about HTTP methods, like a get method for getting some information from a server. If we want to send some information, some long or big information to a server, like a message, like a photo, video, and etc., we can use another type of request. It's like its name's oh, what happened? Oh, just a second. There's some problems. Oh, now it's okay. Its name's post request HTTP method, and post request allow us to send big information to a server, like a long video file for many gigabytes, because we've got stream of sending data from a device to a server. And so post requests have some differences between get request. For example, we've got here body, where we can send some information, as I told, like a video, message, and etc. And we've got also additional HTTP methods, like, for example, put, delete, options, trace, and etc. It's about maybe 10 requests, if I remember. So we use them for divide logic on our server, on our backend, because, for example, post used for adding some entity to a server, but put request can be used just for updating this entity, and etc. And so nowadays, because we don't have wide IP addresses on our clients, and we often use technologies like a net, in a real life, server can start session with a sending request to our device, because we've got a net, or we don't have a wide IP address, and etc. And because of that, every communication with the device and the server, starting from a device, and then we've got request. We've got response from a server. But as you know, we now got IP version 6 that have a big pool of addresses, and in the future, I think every device, our pen, mouse, and etc., all our smart devices can have a wide IP address, and every server can connect to our devices directly. Okay. Next one. Slide. Again, server. our client. During this communication, we can get some errors. For example, if we're trying to access to a server, but it's broken, or a network to the server is broken, and etc., we've got some errors. For example, if server don't works, we can get error number. Errors numbers 500 and with a number in end. So we've got some HTTP status codes that helps us to know what happened after we make some request. As you remember, in the first slide, I tried to get some news, one entity, yeah. So, for example, if we don't have a news on a server with the number 5, server will return HTTP code number 404. It means not found. And for many errors, we've got these numbers that helps us to divide server logic on our backend or on our device to know what happened during this connection. And we've got some pools of our errors, like errors for 200, 300, 400 errors, status code, sorry, and 500 status codes. So if we've got some status code that starts on 200, it means that everything okay, and we've got response with some data that we asked on the server. If we got HTTP code on a 300, it means that there was some proxies, or we've got some redirections, and etc. If we have some status code about the 400, like 404, 400, it's about bad request and etc. It means that there was some problems in between some request logic. Maybe you've got some errors while you ask to the server. Maybe you have server don't have a entity for this ID, or you don't have permissions because you need to you need to get the password, you need to put password and login and etc. And status code with 500, it's about the about that with the server, that we have problems with the server. So, okay, it was about the status codes, and and I think we can show you some additional information. So I need to stop sharing. So just a second. I need to change my device. Yeah. And for example, for every competition, we prepare some API for competitors, where they can get some information from a server for showing on their applications. For example, you can see our documentation. It's on Russian language because it's prepared for a Russian competition, but it's not important because we need just see some information about endpoints. And so I think it's really better. And you can see here that we've got many many endpoints for getting information. For example, for sign in and sign up methods like register, login, and etc. For getting user information, for getting information about movies, for example, and etc. And our competitor will provide it with this documentation for a test project. And every competitor must know how to use this documentation, how to try, how competitor can try is this methods working or not. For example, we can try to get some movies. So I need to change my, yeah, like this. We can try to get movies, and we can see here there are parameters that can be sent, like get parameters, as I shown before, like this one. We can see the status codes that can be sent by a server, like 200. It's about that everything okay. We can see that we can see example of response. It's very important because a competitor need to prepare entities, prepare classes on his source code of application. And if we want to try to run this method, we can just press try it out. You can see this button here, execute. Wait. Oh, yeah, we've got result. Yeah. So in this page, we tried to run our request, and here we can see the result that we have. You can see here we've got the Unicode description. It's in this view because it's in all Russian language, and I guess that in the server side we don't have a flag for a Unicode Cyrillic alphabet. So, and by the way, you can see the request, response with the data, with the all information. And after this, competitor can know, must know what happens when he tried to call this request. By the way, in a real life, it's not often that competitor or developer got that developer or competitor provided with a normal documentation like this one. And sometimes for a developer, someone gives just links. Where's it? Wait, it's not moved. Yeah, just links like this one. And then competitor need to find instruments for getting information about what happens when I call this one, what type of response I've got, and etc. And for that, for example, we in production development use application that names Postman. And in our infrastructure list for our skill, for example, in Russia, we also have a Postman for competitor devices, because it's very useful, easily instrument for testing APIs, for getting information from API, and etc. It's free, but of course it's have some not free plans, like for teams, for business, and etc. But for a competition, for testing, we can use just a free version. So it's very nice. And for example, if I want to try to test API, I can put here put his URL, try to put send, and we've got results here. And I see that here we've got a JSON, so we can select the filter, so not filter, syntaxes highlighter for JSON, and now we can see all structure, formatted structure. It's very important for our request. But get requests, it's very easy because we can run them on our browser. For example, this one, yeah, we've got them. But in a browser, we cannot easily run, for example, post request, because if I try to copy this URL, just a second. This one. Yeah. If I put this URL to a browser, it shows us error like a method not allowed because we need to use post request. So we can use Postman for creating post request. I put URL here. I need to check, or I need to select the HTTP method that I want to use, like a post. And then I can try to send, and sorry again, Russian error, but it means that there are some parameters on our body. For example, in documentation for this login request, we see that we need to send email and password on request body, on post body. So let's try to do it. For this, I can see that for a request, I've got many tabs where I can add get parameters, some authorization information, headers, and etc. And I can see here body. And I need to select what type of body I've got. So I have a row information, and I know that this is JSON format. So I need to select JSON, and I know also got formatted, highlighted structure. It's very important for a better understanding when you've got many data, because this one is terrible, but this one is pretty one. So I need to send information. Check. Yeah, I've got a token that can be used for next request, for example. And as you see with the Postman, we can easily test APIs. It's very important because while you develop mobile application and trying to connect your application with the server, sometimes you've got some errors. It's normally because it's development process, and you can be not sure that it's error with your code or with the server side. Because of that, we often use Postman to check, is everything okay with the server? And after it, we will be sure that the problem in our code, not in the server. And or for example, if competitor needs to create some method with which needs to make some login, and competitor cannot to do it, but competitor need to get some token for hard code for putting this for code, and he can just get it from Postman, for example, and then use this token in the next request that needs this token. For example, here, I think where I need to put token. Not here. Maybe chats. User chats, I guess. Yeah. Oh no. Sometimes in documentation, yeah, we've got the beer authentication in this API as one type of authentication. So, and if we want to use this, we can go to authorization and, for example, beer token, and put here our token that we've got, for example, this one. And additional interesting thing on the Postman that we can add collection, for example, WSA, add some requests for this collection, like login with this one. Where is it? Yeah, this one. For example, additional one, and request, for example, movies, or movies cover. This one, for example, post request, and for here, movies. And if we've got token, and we can often, we can every time edit on our every new request. Yeah, like here, like here. But for example, if we want to easily change the token on all requests, and we've got here 20 requests or more, we can go to collection information, and here we've got the variables, and we can add variable like a token, put here information like this one, and then we can write token here. I don't save. Yeah, token here, and for example, token here. You can see that now we've got hints about that we have got token, and now we don't need to change this token from in every request. We just can go to our collection settings and change it in one place. And it can be used for URLs too, like I don't remember, like this one. We can just put URL here, here, and here, and it's very useful to use not full URL here, because in development process, this link can be changed every time, because we got a testing server, production server, and etc. And we also can change it in one place, and it's very useful. And the last thing is that we can export some information. We can export our collection. For example, we can go to collection settings, press export, and saved, for example, downloads. And for example, in our another computer, we don't have these requests, but we can import them. Where is it? We can go to import, select this file. Where is it? Yeah. And you can see that now we have this collection again, and it's we can use this instrument for sharing collections between users. But for example, in our team, we use our accounts on Postman for share collection with the Postman cloud. But this thing is paid, because as default you can just use free team members for sharing, and it's not enough for a big development team. And we also use better ways for sharing with the clouds, with synchronization and etc. And one additional thing about the Postman is that we can create documentation for every method. For example, this method helps allow to get token, for example, errors, no data, server is on fire, and etc. And oh, it's markdown, so I need to this one. Yeah, like this one. And then we can export all our collection. I can't do this because I'm not in my account, but it's also can be exported for a beautiful view, like on the Swagger, but with the differences. But it's also very useful thing. So maybe you have some questions about the APIs, Postman, and etc. Okay. So I think we can go to coding. Lydia, you with us?
Yes.
Oh, happy to hear you.
I'm here. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Great. Today I want to show you how to implement the client-server request on iOS and on Android. Especially on Android, I want to show you the way to implement it on Java and on Kotlin. And let me to start with iOS. First of all, here I have documentation for my API, and I want to implement GET request to get information about movies. Here I have this request, and if I execute it, I will get the list of movies, information about movies, of course. I can try it here and get information like in this way. Sorry. And I have information about the structure of answer of my request. Let me start. It's necessary to create new project. Here, I want to add application name, something like movies request. For example, I want to use Swift UI, and I think that's all. I want to show you how to use a special library for this. This library is Alamofire. I think it's the most popular library for client-server requests. It's very simple, very powerful, and I recommend it, and not only me. So how to add dependencies into our project? In iOS, we have several approaches, and I recommend you to use native approach, Swift Package Manager. And here I press on File, menu item, select Swift Packages, and press on Add Package Dependency. Of course, I can do it with Cocoa Pods, if you know what is it. But I think with Swift Package Manager, it will be easier. So I need to get information about my library. Let me search it in Google. Alamofire. Here I have the link to GitHub. with source code of this library. Here we can find documentation, and it's necessary to check that this library is compatible with Swift Package Manager. I think it is. So it means that I can just copy this path to this library and paste it into my Xcode. Next. And here I can choose another version of this library, but I want to use the last version. And now Xcode is copying all information into my project. Finish. And now I have dependencies, and I can use this library to send information and get information from server. Then we try to get the list of movies from our server. It means that we have to create a table to show all this information, all movies. And I want to use special type list. It's a dynamic table, some kind of UI table view in iOS or recycle view in Android. And first of all, it's necessary to add code here. Oh, no, I forgot one thing. In our Swagger, we have the path to our API, for example, here, and you can see that we use HTTP protocol, and iOS and Android don't recommend us to use HTTP. They prefer to use HTTPS, but we have none this. It means that we should to add some information into settings of our project to allow our application to send requests into by HTTP protocol. So I go to file info.plist, and here is necessary to add some special information. It's necessary to add app transport security settings. Here I need to allow arbitrary loads and set the domain of my API. Accept domains. In this, of course, here should be yes. Accept domains. I add my domain, cinema rs.su, su, of course, and here I should have dictionary, and for this domain I want to add two Boolean flags, and this exception allows insecure HTTP loads, and ns include subdomains. So it's not so simple. That's why I recommend, when you create the task for your competitors, use HTTPS protocol. And here, yes and yes. I think that's all. Now I can go to content view and add the work with my library aroma file. I want to create a method load movies, and in this method I will call the libraries method. It means that it's necessary to import aroma file here, And to create get requests is necessary to use a method request with a lot of parameters, but we don't need all of them. First of all, I need URL, and here I can input it cinema.res.so movies. Method of HTTP request will be get, and parameters of my request is a filter of my request. Let me show you this parameter filter with string type, and it has three variants of values: new, in trend, and for me. I want to get new films. That's why here I create a dictionary. First is a key of my parameter, and the value is value of my parameter. Then I call method response JSON, and here I can add one parameter, the function, which will be called when we will get the answer from our server. In this function, we have one parameter, response, and in this parameter we will have the data from server. First of all, it's necessary to check that we have something from server, not error, but some data, of course. And here I can use special word guard. It's some kind of if expression, but with another meaning. If response error is nil, or response data, and of course response data is not nil, it means that we have something in our response. We will continue our work, but else we should, for example, print something to our console. For example, response error description. We want to know what was happened, and then is necessary to return from this method. But if everything is okay in our request and we have not empty data in our response, we will go here to line 28 and continue our work. Here we should parse our data from server and show it in the table. But if we want to parse this data, it's necessary to create a new class and implement all necessary fields for our data. I create Swift file movie. It's a model for my data from server. And here I create not class, I want to use structure, because Apple recommends us to use structure in every case. And here I add movie. Is necessary to implement a protocol decodable or codable if you want, and identifiable. This protocol we use to parse our data from server, and this one is necessary because we want to show our movie in table, in list especially. And here I can just write about all fields of my movie which I want to see in my list. And here we have movie ID, name, description, and poster. I think this 4 fields is necessary for us. So I add ID with type of string and some default value. I agree that ID with the string type, it's strange, but we have this API and we cannot change anything in this case. Then name, string, description, and URL to poster, because I want to load image in my application. Then, if you look quiet, you can see that here we have field movie ID, but in my code I have just ID. This is because identifiable protocol require to have ID field in my structure. But how to say the system that ID and movie ID, it's the same information? It's necessary to add special enum coding keys. And here I can say my application that ID equals movie ID from server. But another field names are the same. And poster. And I want to add simple init function without any parameters. So now I can use this movie class to parse the data from server. And here I want to create a variable result and use special class JSON decoder. It's a iOS system class. I create the object of this class and call method decode. Here is necessary to add the type of my data from server. It's an array of movie. And the data from server, response.data. I add this sign here because I already checked that response data is not new, and here I'm sure that here I have some data, but it's necessary to add try here. So on Swift it will be do try. Catch. And if I will catch some error in a parsing process, I can print it in a console. So here I will have the result of my request, and I want to check if result count more than 0. I want to put a new value in my special array. Here I want to add the state for my screen, private movies, It's an array of movies. By default, it's empty. And if I will have information, not empty list from my server, I want to save this information into my state. This is equals to result. I have this method, and I can try to run it, and I want to add, for example, here the breakpoint, but it's necessary to call this method. And now I can do it with a special method on appear. This method will be execute when my view will appear on screen. It's some kind of view will appear method of UIKit lifecycle. And here I run my load movies method. I think I can run to test my code. This screen is empty because I did not create some views, but my application stopped here, and I can see that in the result array, I have 12 movies objects, and here I have ID, name, description, and the name of file with poster for my field. So my request is working, and I can use the data to show it on my screen. Everything is working. So now I want to add a list with my movies into my screen. And first of all, I want to use special type list, but this list required to set up the row of this list. And I want to create it in a new file, Swift UI view, movie row. And here I want to, here I have only one text. I can work with this view as usual, as with the content view. And I want to create the one row of table here. It means that I want to use something like horizontal stack, for example. In this horizontal stack, I want to get image, but I will try without image, and then I will show you how to load images in iOS. Now I need a vertical stack. And here I want to show information about movie. It means that my movie row needs state, movie, and here I can use this state. First of all, I want to show name of my movie, then description, And I think that's enough. Poster I will add here a little bit later. I can resume. But here I need to send some movie. I don't want to create some stuff to use it. So I think just empty movie is enough. But now we will see nothing because this movie have not any default value. But I can change it. For example, I can add here test movie and some test description. Xcode is too slow, as usual. So I can go to content view and add my movie row into list. Here I want to change this text into, I don't want to use padding, I want to use list for movies. And here I have one movie. And what I should to do with this movie? I want to create movie row and send this current movie as parameter to this movie row. So I think I can run this. And you can see that I have information about movies as a list, as a dynamic list in my screen. I have the name of movie and the description of movie. But I think it's not so beautiful. And I want to show the poster of movie. For this, I want to use special library, which named Kingfisher. It's very famous library. It has 18 thousands of stars, and it's compatible with Swift Package Manager too. So I can just copy the path to this library and add it to my project. File, Swift packages, add package dependency, paste this path here, and wait a little. Next. This library allows us to download images from internet, from some URL, and change it. For example, make add a corner radius or circle as around this image. It has a lot of features. So we have this library in our project, so we can use it in our movie row. And here in my horizontal stack, I want to use this library. It's necessary to import it. And this library has special KF image view, which can load image by URL. I should send the path to my image here, and I can copy it from my Swagger documentation. Here we have a base URL for images, and we should add the poster path to this URL here, and then my movie poster. Then I should say it that its image should be resizable, because on our server we have huge images, but in this application I want to show little version of this image, and it should be clipped. Let's try what we will get. We have images, but it has these images have problems with size. I think I can fix it with frame command. Here I want to use something like 100 and 200, and I want to set the aspect ratio, and here I want to fit image into this KF image. Here we have images from the server. They are downloaded when I scroll to this. And I think, of course, it's not so beautiful, but today I want to show you not layout, but working with libraries and requests to the server. But I want to show progress when this data is moving from server, and it means that it's necessary to add some progress, some kind of activity indicator or progress bar, or in Swift UI we have progress view. And here I want to add v stack. And I want to show progress bar, but it's necessary to show it only when we already send the request, but not get the response from server. That's why I add the state here. Special Boolean flag is loading, and by default it's false. But when I send load movies requests, I change it to true value, and when I will get the result, for example, here I will change it to false. And if is loading, we should show our progress view with some title. And I want to see the circle progress. Okay, let's start it. Progress, I can repeat. we have a little progress view on the top of our screen, and it will be hidden when we will get the information from server. And everything's clear for user, and everything is working. This is for iOS operation system with Swift UI. I repeat what I use. I use Alomafire library for sending requests. I use Kingfisher library for loading images from internet, and I use decodable type for parsing information from server, from JSON to my object, to my structure, especially. Maybe someone has some questions about it, or I can continue with Android. Let me close everything and open Android Studio. Emil, maybe you have some questions or suggestions. So the next operation system of our skill is Android. And I want to show you how to create requests with, first of all, with Java language, then with Kotlin. Because I know that Java is very popular, of course, more popular than Kotlin. So, movies, request. And here I select Java language and create new project. In Android, to get information from server, I recommend to use another library, Retrofit. What is it? Let me show you. Retrofit, it's the most popular library for URL requests. It's old, but very powerful, and I like to use it. Okay, first of all, it's necessary to add dependencies to this library into my project. To do this, I try to find the Gradle implementation line in the documentation of this library. I copy it and paste here in the build.gradle file for my model movie request. Here we have the list of all dependencies of my project, and I want to add this one and change the version to the latest. But this library can only get information from server or send something to server, but it can't to parse information. That's why I want to use another library, JSON. I don't know how to pronounce it. And I add implementation here. And the version of this library is the same. And it's necessary to sync my project. Very interesting. Okay. Android Studio is crazy a little bit. I have retrofit, I have converter for my data. Then the next step is necessary to set up my Android manifest, because like on iOS, we have a problems with using of HTTP protocol. It's necessary to allow my application to use this protocol because by default we can't use it. First of all, it's necessary to add permission for internet because our application need internet. And then we should add special file with network security settings. I create new file with type of XML and name network security, for example. Okay. But here I will not have some screens or views because here is necessary to add special tags for network security config. Here I want to add domain config for my domain config. Allow my application to use clear text traffic. And here is necessary to add our domain, cinema rs su, include subdomains, of course. I think that's enough. And I should add this path to this file into my Android manifest. In this way. And another little uses clear text traffic should be true. Okay, now I hope that Android operation system will allow us to create requests to our server. Then, because I use the retrofit library, it's necessary to create special interface with a list of my methods to send some requests to the server. A new Java class, cinema service, for example. It should be interface. And here I want to add method get. It's a HTTP method for my request. And here is necessary to add endpoint to my request without base URL, but I can add parameters here and I use special type call. And I want to get array of movies. Sorry, I'm not already add a movie class. Like on iOS, is necessary to add it, of course, movie. And here is necessary to add all information about movie. First of all, movie ID. Name. Description. And poster. because here on Android, I want to have a poster on screen too. I will not add getters and setters. Of course, if we want to create beautiful code, we need it, and we need to add something like private, but it's not the case of today. So here I want to use movie class, call class from retrofit library, then name of my method, and that's all. Now I can create the request to my server and get the answer. How to do it? I want to add method load movies, and here is necessary to create the object of retrofit class. We use special retrofit builder to do it. And here we should set up our retrofit object. First of all, we need to send base URL, cinema res su. Then we should add a converter factory for parsing our data from JSON to our object of class movie. JSON converter factory dot create. Then we need to call build function, and Android Studio does not see this class. It's very interesting. Maybe I forget to synchronize something. Yes, I have a little error here. Extra space. And now I can import this class. The next step is creation of a service and send the request. Cinema service. We create special class for sending requests, and now we can use it. This object has a method getMovies, which I added into cinema service, and I can execute it asynchronously with method enqueue. Here is necessary to add a parameter callback, which will be called when we will get a response from our server. And here I can use the magic of anonymous classes on Java. I have two methods. On response will be execute when we will have data from server without errors, and on failure will be execute if we will have some error code like 404 or something else, or if we just have not access to internet. So here we can print something to console, not in this way, of course, on Android style. Main activity, and error. But if we have a correct answer from the server, we can use it and save movie. Without it, of course. And here I can send the response body to my array of movies, because here on response body we will have the array of movies from our server. I can run this load movies method here on create method, and I think that I can run this application in debug mode and test have I some information from server or not. It's necessary to wait a little because Android emulator is not so fast system as we want. But I can't to use device now just because I have not Android device. And here we stopped. It means that everything's okay. We have code 200, message okay from URL, and on the body we have 12 movies and all information in the correct fields of objects of my movie class. And we can show it in our recycle view. So we have data from server. Now it's necessary to create recycle view. It's a dynamic table in Android, and let's do it. First of all, it's necessary to, because I want to show poster and two text view, I can't use usual adapters and items for my recycle view. I need custom items and custom adapter. And that's why I create new layout, not here, item movie for my application. Here I want to use image view for poster, and because I don't have some placeholder, I will use just avatar placeholder. Why not? And two text view, one for name of film of movie and one for description. And it's necessary to add constraints for my objects. For example, 24, and I want to change this. I want to set the size of my image. 128, I think it's good value. And then it's necessary to add constraints to my text view. 24 for top, not 9, but I want to 16. I think it will be beautiful. 24 for right, and layout width is necessary to set to 0 dp. It means that text field will increase into all empty space. The same for this text view. 16 here, 24 on the right, with 0 dp. And I want to add constraint to bottom, and here it should be 24. And my constraint layout should have the height wrap content. And I want to change the identifiers, poster image view, name text view, and description text view. Android Studio asked me rename this or not, because in code of this layout I have a lot of dependencies with this text view, because I already set the constraints for it. And I select refactor. Text view. I think that's enough for my item movie. I go to activity.main. I don't need any text view here, but I need recycle view. And I want to add constraints, but not one, only 0. Layout width should be 0 dp to increase my recycle view, and height 0 dp. Here I can set list item to see what I will have. It's just a layout, and I think it's good. And now I want to add the identifier, movies list, for example, and I'm ready to create adapter class for my recycle view. Adapter is a special class which allows us to get data as an array or array list, for example, and set the item for this data and send it to recycle view. So my adapter will be movie adapter, and it should extend special class recycle view adapter with some generics, especially movie adapter dot view holder. When Google company present us recycle view, the main part of it was view holder. It's a special class which contain the links to user interface components, because all the components like list view or grid view had not such element like view holder, and they were slowly. So I need to add here class view holder, which extends recycle view holder, and this class should have links to my text view, name, description, and image view with my poster. Then I should, what Android Studio recommend me, create constructor, yes, of course. And here I should add links to my UI components, name text view. I can use view binding here, but I want to show you that classical find view by ID is working too. Item view air description text view, and image view with poster. Air ID poster image view, That's all for view holder. I think it's extra data. And here I have to implement with 3 methods. Problems with annotations. So my movie adapter should have the links to movies. So I add array with movies, and by default it will be empty. Then I should implement this through these 3 methods. And here on create view holder, I should create the view from my layout. For it is necessary to use layout inflator. Layout inflator is a special class which can get layout from XML file and create all objects from this description from XML file. Here I need a link to the context. I can get it from parent, for example. Then I can inflate my layout, my item view movie into parent with without attaching to root. And is necessary to return a new object of view holder with a link to view inside it. Then on method on bind view holder is necessary to get holder and send all data from our movie about our movie to this holder. I want to get current movie. Position and holder name set text movie name, then holder description set text movie description, and about image I will tell you a little bit later. And item count, sorry, should be equals to movies dot length, because we need one row for one movie. I hope that's all, and I can return to my main activity. Here I want to have the link to my recycle view. I will get it as usual. Movies list with find view by ID method. Then when I get information from server, I can send this information to my movies list. First of all, I create adapter. Then I send movies to this adapter. I set this adapter to my movies list, to my recycle view. And it's necessary to set the layout manager for my recycle view, because without layout manager, recycle view can't to show us anything. And I will use just linear layout manager with context. I think we can try to run this code. And here I have the table, recycle view, of course, with all information about films. But now I want to show the poster, and for it I want to use another library, which is named Glide. This is a library for fast and efficient loading of images. And to add it, I need to copy these dependencies and paste it into dependencies of my project. And I can use it. I go to adapter, because here on method on bind view holder, I want to load my poster into my image view. And I can do it with Glide. Here is necessary to send the context, because on Android we can't do anything without context. Context. For example, I can get it from holder item view, for example. Then I execute method load, and here I need to send the full path to my. I don't want to do it manually because I can just copy it from here. And plus movie poster. And it's necessary to set the target. I think that's all. Let me check the size of my, everything is correct. I can rerun my application. And here I have images. Moreover, Glide can cache images. It means that our application will be very efficient. And I think it's very simple to use it. And I recommend it to use it on competition, because it's fast, simple, and it always works. So it was for Java language, and I think that I can show it for Kotlin language. Some code I can copy from this Java. No, sorry, I forget to add progress bar here. And notice that usually when we send some request to server with URL connection or something else, is necessary to create new thread or use async classes or something else. But retrofit library does it by its own. It's not necessary to remember about this problem. So let me create new project for Kotlin. And here will be movies request Kotlin. I think that we can compare the number of lines in code on Kotlin and on Java. Some things I can just copy. For example, dependencies from one project to another, because these libraries we can use for Java and for Kotlin. It's not matter. Sync now. And I want to use such build feature like view binding, because I like it. I think it's very useful. That's why I need to create link to my binding. With lazy initialization. It means that the object of this class will be created only on first execution of some methods of this class, of this object, of course. Inflate, we have link to layout inflator, and here we should replace it with binding.root. That's all for data binding. I need to move this array. I need to create new class movie. Oh, no, not Java. I can use Java and Kotlin class in the same project, but now I want to create Kotlin class because I will use special type, special syntax sugar of Kotlin language, data class. If we don't need some business logic inside the class, like here in movie, we just get fields and getters and setters, we can use special class data class, this class without body. It's strange maybe in the first time, but it's very fast to use it because we will have constructor for this class, and the object of this class can be printed in console in a beautiful approach, in a beautiful way. So movie ID, name, description, and poster. Well, of course, I want to refer movie. That's all for this class, and I can use it in my code. Then function for load movies, and here we can do the same. I can show you little trick. I can copy this code from Java project and paste it here. And Android Studio asked me, do you want to convert it to Kotlin code? Yes, I want. That's all. I have a problems because I did not add already a cinema service, but Android Studio can translate the code from Java to Kotlin automatically, and it's very useful when you just study Kotlin language. You can write something on Java and just copy it, and you will see how it should look like on Kotlin. So the next interface is Cinema Service. And here I can copy and paste code and translate it automatically. Get movies, array movie, everything is okay. Then I think we don't need this question because I know that from our server I will always get information about movies. Then it's necessary to create recycle view and add layout for my item movie. I can just copy it and paste here. That's all. Then I want to add movies adapter. But I don't want to copy it from Java project because I want to use view binding here and show you how to use it in Kotlin project. So here I have movies adapter and I want to send movies as a parameter of constructor of my adapter. Then it should extend recycle view adapter with generic concrete type of view holder. Here I should add inner class view holder with binding, not that binding, but item movie. Then I should add here this parameter. Not only binding, but link to the root of my view. And here I can add all links to my user interface components. Description. binding description. And for poster, we add the same code. Then, because it's a adapter, it should implement this method. And here I can return view holder with link to my root view. We need to use layout inflator as in Java. Then parent and false. And return it with view holder wrapping. Then on bind view holder, I need to link to my movie. And set all holder parameters. Text movie name, description text is equal to movie description, and I can use glide in the same way. I can just copy it. But nothing will change after translation from Java to Kotlin in this case. And here I can just return movies size. Movies adapter is ready. Then I can return here and wait a little because Android Studio needs some time to understand that I already have this movies adapter. Yes. Then array movie response array movie. And here is necessary to check that we have something in our body because it can be empty. That's why I want to add the check. Then movies adapter should be with movies. This line is not necessary, and I have not linked to movies list, but I can use binding. I have not recycle view here, but I can copy it from Java code, just this part. And And here the same. Of course, I don't execute load movies. I think I can start this project and check my result. I need some time for building. And here we have the same result. I think that it's necessary to change something to check that this is another application. For example, here I want to use green color. And application crashed. But I think that problem isn't with color, because it's very strange. Request Kotlin.
Maybe you have a
I think
wrong address.
No, I copied. Yes, I did not copy everything in manifest. Yeah, you're quite right.
And in our skill in Russian competitions, we often have this problem. Many competitors, for example, from junior skills, which don't have many experience in issues with development, they also have these issues because they don't remember that they need to add permissions, for example, or they don't have they don't remember that they need to add security policy fields and etc. And often our competitors just sitting on these workstations and yeah, you need to add this, and they don't know how to solve these problems. And because of that, in Russian skill, we allow to use official documentation for our competitors. They can, from this workstation, they can access to websites like developer.android.com and developer.apple.com, and they easily can search everything that that we have in official websites. But if competitors have additional issues or additional questions, of course, for competitors, we've got one machine with an internet connection, like an internet cafe, where they can try to Google something, go to Stack Overflow, go to another website, or trying to watch videos with cats and everything that they want. And because we allow to use official documentation in these workstations, we have results with more quality, with many features, with many realized features, and I think it's very good because we're interested in real developers, and if you know, real developers very often use official documentation or internet because we are people, we can store every information in our mind, and it's normally. And I hope that, for example, in Shanghai, we also will have we have access to official documentation. But I don't remember. Maybe leader, you help me. In technical description, we don't have anything about accessing to official documentation. Yeah, for Shanghai.
Yes, there are no information about documentation, but there is information about internet cafe.
Yeah.
Competitors can use it, but only 10 minutes as far as I remember, and not on every session.
Yeah, yeah. No, by the way, in Russia, we have a lot of interesting things for our competitors. So you all from another country is welcome. So sorry, leader, for disturbing you.
I think that that's all what can I show today.
Great. You fixed, you cleared text traffic.
Yes, yes, I had all settings here, and now I had a project with green toolbar. It's a Kotlin project, and everything working, and we can read something about these films. And I think that we can compare a little code on Kotlin and code on Java. Of course, it's maybe a strange example, and I have a lot of empty space here. Let me reformat here and here. But on, for example, on Java, for this code, we need a lot of free space.
We need about 55 lines.
Yeah. Lines, and here 48, not so big, but I think that in a big project, Kotlin may be a better language, but it's only my opinion. If you like Java, Java is classical language, and you can use Java, of course. I think that's all.
Yes, thank you very much, Lina. And it's a good example for all that we also can complete this project. Competitors can complete this project in many types, in many languages, and etc. And I think for experts, it's very important to choose the right platform for your competitors, because as we've shown in modern languages and modern principles like a Swift UI, or for example in I again forgot the name of Jetpack Compose, for example, for Android. We also can increase the speed of coding development, and of course, first of all, we need to check competitor. Maybe he has many experience on Java, and because of that, we don't need to try to reteach him for another languages. But if you have, for example, Macs, Apple computers, I think it's cool idea to try Swift UI, Swift language, and try to make applications for iOS. And for example, in Russia, before we start our skill, there was very small count of universities or colleges where students can learn how to create applications for iOS or for macOS and etc. And with our skill, we help to colleges and universities to add new direction of mobile application development. And I think it's very good because, for example, market of iOS developers, it's real big, and we don't have enough programmers for companies that develop mobile applications for iOS devices too. And I think that the same problem in many of your countries. And I hope that with our skill, with mobile application development, you also can increase the level of students, not only on Android development, but also in iOS development too. And I hope that with our small master classes, you also can additional way to start programming for iOS, to start learn Swift UI, and I hope it will help. Maybe you have a questions about today's themes. Very sad. There are no questions. Boring. Okay. By the way, for next days, we have prepared some test project. We have prepared some information about assessment criteria. We will talk about how to experts assess competitors' results. And I hope it will be helpful for you all. And for competitors or for experts, we want to give some test project. And if you want, you can try to complete this. And for example, at Friday, we try to assess it together, and we will take some experience in it. Because if you remember, in August we will have some competition for these countries which now we have here, and I hope that you will got excellent experience in our small camp, today's camp and camp of this week. So if you don't have any questions, I think we can end our meeting for today, and see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.